Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we will try to answer the question how Cardano will solve all the critical issues with first and second generation blockchains and pave the way towards mass adoption of blockchain technology across countries, nations, business ecosystems, and societies. So to answer this question, first we have to understand what are the first and second generation blockchains. Also, what was the main motive or motivation of their creation, and also how to tell which blockchain is a first generation blockchain and a second generation blockchain and also a third generation blockchain. Then we will see what are the 5 main shortcomings of first and second generation blockchains. After that, we will see how Cardano will solve each one of these problems and dominate the blockchain space in the long run. Before we go ahead, for those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Subail Khan. I am a business strategist, business mentor, blockchain expert, and a scientist. So the goal of the first generation blockchains like Bitcoin was the transfer of value without the involvement of a third party. So no banks will be needed anymore. And it will also result in the financial inclusion of billions of unbanked people. So for example, if I am a person A and if I want to send a person B 1 Bitcoin, then after the transaction, my balance will be my balance before the transaction minus 1 Bitcoin. And the balance of the person B will be his previous balance before the transaction plus 1 Bitcoin. So this is how the first generation blockchains keep a record of the balance which each and every wallet has. But the first generation blockchains have a big shortcoming, and it is that they won't tell you the conditions under which the exchange of value took place, or what was the underlying asset, car, real estate, etc., or the service that was exchanged for the value that was exchanged between the two parties. Also, on which terms the parties agreed to execute the transaction. Ethereum addresses and solves these problems with the help of smart contracts. So the goal of the second generation blockchains is to increase transparency and use cases of blockchain technology while reducing conflict, enhancing efficiency, and creating value in various use cases and contexts. So what will happen if the mass adoption of first generation blockchains takes place? So for example, if Bitcoin will go mainstream, then the banks will become a thing of the past. Why should I need a bank when I can myself send a certain amount of Bitcoins to another person at any point in the globe? So it simply means that the inefficiency will be reduced, and of course many bankers are going to lose their jobs. And at the same time, the federal banks who print money out of thin air, they are definitely gonna face a tough time because Bitcoin has a lot of good properties which the fiat money does not have. But we will cover that in a separate video. And now the question is, what will happen if the mass adoption of the second generation blockchains take place? Of course, many bureaucrats who sign the papers for the whole of their lives, many of them are going to lose their jobs, and they will be replaced by blockchains and with the smart contracts and dApps. Then we have to pay less taxes, and there will be less wastage of time also, and that time can then be spent in value creating activities. And in this way, the extent of innovation in the society will increase because the intellectual capital will be used or directed more towards creating real value for certain market segments. There is one other problem which is common between the first and the second generation blockchains, and that is the governance system. So it is not good in the generation 1 and generation 2 blockchains because, for example, hard forks. So Ethereum split into 2 chains, Ethereum Classic and Ethereum, and then Bitcoin also split into Bitcoin Cash and BTC. So it has a very negative sort of an effect on the innovations that can potentially happen if there will be no hard forks. For example, the community splits. It creates silos with religious attachment to one chain. So as a result of hard forks, the communities are split, then it creates silos, and then this sort of grouping and us versus them mentality is not good for innovation and collaboration. And it is definitely detrimental to innovation and value co-creation. And it also segments the intellectual capital. It locks them into silos, which is simply not good for the developments and innovations in the blockchain space. It impedes them, it slows them down. So now we have a very good idea of generation 1 blockchains and also the generation 2 blockchains, and we kind of have a rough idea about their shortcomings and also the motivation behind their creation. So we discussed first of all the generation 1 blockchains, and we saw that the main purpose for their creation was the transfer of value, and then we saw that fine, just the transfer of value is not going to work in a variety of use cases because we definitely need to know the conditions under which a transaction took place between the two parties. So for that, second generation blockchains like Ethereum were created. But now, in both the first and second generation blockchains, there are definitely some shortcomings which we looked at. So now, there are 5 main problems. Let's shortlist them. Let's elaborate them very clearly, which must be solved for the mass adoption of blockchain technology. The first one is adoption, the extent of adoption. The second one is sustainability. The third one is security in the future. The fourth one is scalability. And the fifth one is interoperability. So let's go through each one of those shortcomings of generation 1 and generation 2 blockchains, and let's see how Cardano mitigates each one of those problems, and it is going to lead the pack of the third generation blockchains and create massive impact in this world, and due to which I think Cardano is going to be one of the best investments in the blockchain space in the coming years. So the first problem is adoption. So let's see how Cardano addresses that. So many SMEs and startups suffer from longer time to market of their products and services. Reason being bugs and lack of precision in terms of alignment with architectural description and also satisfying the non-functional properties during the development. And due to that, the development can sometimes lead to a rabbit hole of iterations, which can be very frustrating and time consuming. And also it can cost a lot of man-months. To mitigate this problem, Cardano came up with Haskell programming language, where code can be written precisely to mitigate errors and streamline software development. And what is the result of that? The result of that is less iterations, faster time to market, and less development costs. Now let's look at how Cardano solves the sustainability problem. So at a higher level, fine, Cardano uses proof of stake consensus, which means you can hold ADA coins in your wallet and receive rewards for validating blocks on the Cardano network. So sustainability is achieved by using Ouroboros protocol. Just like other proof of stake protocols, it is not energy hungry like the proof of work, and it eliminates the security concerns commonly surfacing in proof of stake protocols. Ouroboros is the first proof of stake protocol proven to be mathematically secure. But how much secure is it? The level of security is in par with Bitcoin blockchain that has never been compromised. And that is a big achievement for a proof of stake consensus protocol. Problem number 3, future-proof security. One of the most important features of Cardano are quantum-resistant signatures. With that, you can now be sure that your funds will be protected against quantum computers. Security is a major concern for the institutional investors since they will invest for long term in cryptocurrencies as a hedge against traditional markets or traditional investing instruments. So they look way into the future and they don't want a situation where the security of their digital assets will be compromised due to quantum computers. You never know what is going to come in the future and how fast it is going to make its way to the market. Therefore, quantum resistance is a security feature that will motivate institutional investors to make Cardano an integral part of their portfolio. Raising awareness, increasing media coverage, and motivating industries to adopt it into their value chain due to the increased visibility. Moreover, all applications involving sensitive information can leverage this aspect of Cardano blockchain and realize their vision with confidence, conviction, and clarity. Now, let's see how Cardano solves the scalability problem. So, for those of you who don't know, Visa network processes an average of 150 million transactions every day. It is approximately 2000 transactions per second, TPS. Such throughput is unreachable for current blockchain networks. Normally, throughput of proof of work networks is usually only a few dozen transactions per second. Proof of stake networks can reach several hundred transactions per second. After some 5 years of interdisciplinary research effort in IOHK, the Hydra paper was released. Hydra breaks new ground in proof of stake scalability. With Hydra, Cardano can really become the alternative to the current fiat money. Hydra is the second layer solution on the top of Cardano first layer, where proof of stake consensus is used. Hydra is the second layer solution on top of Cardano first layer, where proof of stake consensus is used. The IOHK team introduced an extended UTXO model that allows sharding of stake space without the need to share ledger itself. It is still possible to shard on the ledger level, and Hydra is a complementary part of the whole scaling solution. Every pool can create a new Hydra's head, so adding more pools mean that more heads can be added. So by adding new heads to the protocol, nearly linear scaling can be achieved. Simulations have been done and the results are great. Each Hydra head can process around 1000 transactions per second, and there is room for further optimization. So with 1000 pools, Cardano could be theoretically scaled up to 1 million transactions per second, and the finality of transactions will be very fast. This means that Cardano blockchain can become an alternative to a large number of use cases where scalability surfaces as a major bottleneck for the adoption of blockchain. Therefore, I would like to say that it will open the avenues of opportunities in various industrial ecosystems and enable adoption of Cardano in use cases via dApps that can cover a wide spectrum of value proposition in areas such as micropayments and also voting. And the fifth and the last problem is interoperability. So Cardano has recognized this problem and aims to become the Internet of blockchains in an effort to address this problem. The project recognizes that it is unlikely in the future that there will be one crypto which will emerge as the one and only coin. Cardano will provide a comprehensive platform which understands what is happening on the blockchains and which allows them to interact with each other. The Cardano team recognizes that one of the main obstacles to cryptocurrency being universally accepted as a payment method is the lack of communication and understanding between the old finance and the new. We know that the financial establishment has a problem with crypto. Look at the war over classification and issuance of products like the Bitcoin ETF, which has been ever present in the news over the last year. And the reason for this is that certain metadata are absent or obfuscated in many crypto transactions. Identities of transacting parties, purpose of transaction like salary, gift, etc. and so on. And Cardano promises to address this through its legacy bridge concept, which allows this data to be included and therefore becoming more compliant with existing financial regulations. So now you can see that the generation 2 blockchains haven't done a very good job to include such data in the transactions. And Cardano strives to solve this problem. Cardano also acknowledges that compliance with existing financial architecture will mean limiting the possibilities of its cryptocurrency, since capital restrictions, trade embargoes, and so forth exist within traditional finance. These rules must be upheld in the crypto world as well. In short, Cardano not only wants to establish interoperability between the blockchains such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, etc., but also to the legacy systems of the banking world, for example, Swift, etc. And that sets Cardano apart from a lot of the third generation blockchains. Therefore, I firmly believe that Cardano has a bright future ahead of it. Therefore, as a scientist, I am really inspired and impressed to see how the Cardano team has addressed each of the 5 main shortcomings of Generation 1 and Generation 2 blockchains in Cardano, and how they are developing this system in a streamlined manner to impact billions of lives across the globe, and thus paving the way towards the mass adoption of blockchain technology. So I firmly believe that Cardano as an investment is going to be really good. Therefore, I firmly believe that Cardano is going to be a very good investment in the blockchain space in the coming 5 to 6 months and also in the coming years. And their Gorgon mainnet is launching in February, after which we are going to see Cardano smart contracts. And also at the same time, there is an Ethereum converter. So the Ethereum dApps and tokens can easily be ported to the Cardano blockchain. And in this way, the adoption of Cardano is going to be really exponential in the long run. And it also has the ability to shatter the first mover advantages of Ethereum, because the dApps and tokens on the Ethereum network can now be ported to the Cardano network very easily due to Ethereum to Cardano converter, which was demonstrated recently. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. And if this video has given you some value, please subscribe, like and share this video because it helps this channel. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye and take care.